Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Soul Therapy Live with Harleen Bagga. We have actually already finished a month. Today is a 1 month anniversary, a 1 month birthday for Soul Therapy, and I am so excited and happy about this initiative. It is really thrilling, and I am glad that you guys have stuck on. Thank you for your support and encouragement. It is the most amazing thing, and it is what I could have wanted to go on this journey and to go on this path. What I'm going to ask you and what we're going to discuss today is a lot of interesting things. I have received my questions today, and I have about 6 of them ready to be answered. Just to begin, my name is Harleen Bagga. In case you were wondering who I am, well, now you know. So, I am a success and relationship coach. I'm a positive psychologist. I'm a multidisciplinary psychotherapist. And I use a combination of NLP, mindfulness, CBT, life coaching, and counseling to treat my clients and my patients. I am extremely passionate about building this community where we are empowering one another, building one another up, and really taking care of each other instead of false labeling and tearing each other down and falsities that attach with it. Very quickly, I have 17 years of work experience. I have worked with Microsoft US for about 8 years, Philips Semiconductors before that. I have handled the online charter for business for cutting edge for about another 7 to 8 years. And now I am into the business of serving the community, which is you. And I love it. It by far, I think, is the most fulfilling and satisfying job, and I'm glad I am doing this. So thank you so much. Before we get started, I would like to share with you a couple of videos that are relevant, and I hope you get a chance to check them out. Uh, as soon as I pass that, okay, so I'm actually also trying and juggling between my YouTube and Facebook Live. So please give me a little bit of patience while I try and juggle. Okay, so I am back and I'm pasting the videos right here so that you can go ahead and view them when you get a chance. My first question for today is relevant to all of us. All these questions were sent to me, and the request was made for them to be anonymous. So we're not going to talk about names. We're just going to talk about answers and solutions. First question is, why can't we stop ourselves from procrastinating? Such a simple question. And all of us are guilty of it. So what is procrastinating? Procrastinating is the tendency to delay, tendency to defer something from getting done. Is procrastination a result of laziness? Is procrastination a result of not wanting to do something? Unfortunately, there is no one answer that fits all. Procrastination also means that maybe that task is not a priority. Typically, one would procrastinate when you are not interested in doing that task. Think about it. If your mom told you to go do something like watch TV, would you procrastinate? If your friends called you and said, hey, buddy, let's go out for a spin, let's go out, would you procrastinate? No. So, when we are interested in doing something, when something is close to our heart, when something is giving us that instant gratification, we do not procrastinate. So, vis-a-vis, what this means is procrastination is not really a physical issue, which many people think of it. Procrastination is an emotional issue. It is a mental issue. It is an issue which basically indicates that your motivation towards that task is something that needs fixing and needs looking. Sometimes some people are overcommitted. For them, it becomes a logistic or a physical issue. What do I mean by that? They are stretched thin. They are overcommitted to many things. So they don't have an option but to prioritize and go handle each of those situations seriously. But for the rest of us, it is something that needs help emotionally. Um, Sometimes we procrastinate to also build anticipation, which means that we need to create that drama in our head. Sometimes we need to create that anxiety for ourselves so that our performance becomes A grade. Some of us thrive under pressure. Some of us need to create that kind of a panic environment where the best of us and the true potential comes out. So, some of us actually procrastinate to make the best of us come out. Why is this important? Okay, Archana says, what are you looking at when you are talking, my dear? I am actually flipping between YouTube Live and Facebook Live, Archana. So I am looking both at my YouTube and then my Facebook, which is why you can see me alternating my vision. So I hope I answer that question. But coming back, this is my advice to you, right? When your children tomorrow want to procrastinate or you want to procrastinate, first ask yourself, why do you want to procrastinate? Is it because you don't want to do the task? And if you don't want to do the task, ask yourself why. Is it because you want to create that environment of urgency around yourself? If that is the reason, you have identified for yourself a pattern that works. It is critical and key to identify patterns that work for you in life. Because in today's world, when competition is so much around us, is cutthroat, we need to know the patterns and behaviors that work well for us. If it is procrastination out of an emotional issue where you are disturbed, it means you need to seek help. If it is something that is just hard and you don't want to do it because you're afraid of failure, it tells you that you as a person are afraid of failure. Why is that important? It is very, very important to know your beliefs, to know how to address it. And sometimes we have starting problems. It is also important to know if that person who has a starting problem is us, because if we know that, we can surround ourselves with those kind of people who are just going to push us to make sure we get off our feet. Because getting off our feet is the problem. Once you identify the issue, this entire uh, issue of procrastination is something that can be dealt with efficiently and smoothly. The next question that I have is, how do I know if I am suffering from imposter syndrome? Uh, well, it obviously means that you are very well read and someone has labeled you as this, because imposter syndrome is something that the layman doesn't know about. So, imposter syndrome, for all my viewers, is something uh, when feelings of inadequacy persist, and when we are not confident about our success, we feel we are an imposter in our own lives and we don't deserve the success that has come to us. That feeling is called as an imposter syndrome. You might laugh at it, that really, if you're successful, if you're working hard, why would you not feel successful? That's just dumb. Unfortunately, it's a very, very big thing and it is authentic. You know what triggers imposter syndrome? Social stigma, labeling. Let me give you an example to put it in perspective. Let's say you have more than one child, right? You have two or three kids. If you label one of them as someone who is less intelligent. If somehow, when you're parenting that child, you use words like, "Oh, why are you so dumb? Why can't you think? Why can't you just do things right?" Unfortunately, parents use those sentences without thinking. But when you have used that kind of terminology with your children or your students time and again, when that child suddenly gets success, when that child does something good, that child feels, "Oh, but I'm stupid, but I'm not careful. How could I have got this right?" You have created that feeling of uh, unworthiness in that person. That person has been completely stripped of that confidence, that when that person is successful, they think it is a fluke. They think it happened by chance. That is a very, very sad and depressing thing to happen. And that is what an imposter syndrome is. Imposter syndrome can also be triggered by social labeling. What do I mean? Let's say, and I do not want to hurt or harm anyone. This is just to give you perspective. That's it. Okay. But let's say I'm in a country, I'm in South, and I'm a North Indian. If I am labeled as, let's say, a North Indian gets labeled as, "Oh, he's brash, he's not smart," or a South Indian gets labeled as, "Oh, you have an accent, or you cannot speak well, you're not eloquent, you're not articulate." When that person, when either of them actually achieves success in that area where they have been socially labeled, where they have been toned down, that success seems fake. And it can mess up with your mind so badly that you actually need help to overcome an imposter syndrome, because you are forever and ever second guessing yourself. You don't believe yourself. Dealing with it, like I said, definitely seek professional help. It is key for you to do that. Very important, internalize. Please separate facts from fiction. Don't take failures personally. What does that mean? Because you don't believe yourself, because there is a lack of confidence in yourself, every time you fail, every time you feel you have done a mistake, it goes right to the heart. It goes right to the mind. That's not right. Failure is an opportunity for you to grow. If that can be your mantra, I mean, success, growth, evolution, nobody can stop you. That is the essence of growth mindset. So accept failures, accept mistake as a part of the journey to realize and become who you are. If you don't make mistakes, if you don't fall down, how do you become better? It's as simple as that. A child learns to walk and run only by falling down a million times. Next, demystify what success is in your head. Please be very, very clear. And not just with imposter syndrome, this is my advice to everyone. People who feel that you are unsuccessful, people who are insecure, especially. I am talking to all those people right now who have that tinge, that little bit of insecurity in your mind that gnaws at you, that questions, makes you question yourself. When you set a goal for yourself, when you have an expectation, make sure it is crystal clear. What do I mean by that? For example, if you say, "I want to do well in an examination," do well is ambiguous, right? You have to have certain goals. I want to do well enough so that I get between 90 and a 93%. So when the results come out and you actually get a 90 to a 93%, there's a feeling of satisfaction and happiness in your brain because you have achieved your goal. By making things ambiguous, and we are adding mystery to our goals. The moment we add mystery to our goals, even though we achieve it, somewhere in our mind we have not met the expectations. And when we don't meet the expectations, guess what? Our insecurities build. and we indirectly walk down that path of imposter syndrome. We tend to become imposters in our own life where we question ourselves, really, am I that? Am I that confident? So it is something that I want you to watch out for. Next time someone labels you, push back. Next time you find yourself labeling someone, push back. And I'm also talking about positive labels. Imposter syndrome also occurs in over positivity. For example, if someone labels you as being sensible all the time, next time you want to have fun, you want to do something that's lighthearted, you want to go out with your girlfriends and just let your hair down and get all crazy, you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to feel that you're an imposter, a second persona. You are leading down, making yourself bipolar in a sense. So stay away from good or bad, positive or negative labeling. Labeling hurts, period. The third question that I have is, are drugs or therapy better for mental health conditions? That is such a good question. And thank you so much. I will not take your name, but thank you so much for writing that in, because it is very important that people realize the difference. See, the solutions are not just drugs and therapy today, right? You have so many things. It is medication, it is alternative therapy also. You have art therapy, you have laughter therapy, exercise, talking therapies. So, to get better, to feel good about yourself, you don't have to be and or. It can also be a combination of everything. While antidepressants work, okay, but they have a lot of side effects. And typically, where medical advice is concerned, for low to moderate depression, for low to moderate anxiety, it is recommended that you stay away from it. The first line of defense should not be drugs. The first line of defense should be maybe therapy, where you give yourself a chance to tackle that situation and to become strong, to evolve in a way that makes you stronger from within. So what are the options? Today there are a lot of talking therapies: CBT, mindfulness, counseling, NLP, stuff that I am doing. There's also therapies like laughter therapy, art therapy. Exercise is a great thing that works. So, to summarize the question that you have asked me, see what works for you. See what works for you is something that needs to be diagnosed by a physician or by a therapist. I would suggest that you go to a psychotherapist first, see if they're able to figure you out, see if they are able to build that kind of rapport and help you build yourself. And if that does not work, then perhaps go down the route of seeing somebody else. However, if your condition is severe or acute, then definitely make the use of drugs, because that's the reason that they are invented. The next question I have is, again, something that all of us experience. I feel quite low sometimes. Should I be seeing a therapist? How many of us feel low? How many of us feel upset, sad sometimes? It's a very natural thing. However, if there is a sadness that is gnawing at you, what I want you to do is open up. Now, open up does not mean pick up your bag, wear good clothes, and go out and have fun with your friends. Open up does not mean paint the town red, laugh the medicine, drink yourself to the la la land, and feel good about yourself. You can do that too. That's not a problem. But that's not what I mean when I say open up. Open up is find and identify that one person and pour your heart out. Why is that important? Because there is something that is troubling you. And unless and until you don't empty your cup, that's not going to leave you. You cannot fill it with positivity. You cannot fill with other distractions. I want you to find that person, and go talk to them. Once you talk to them, the possibility of you feeling better is high. If that works for you, eureka, you are in a good space. But if that feeling of sadness, that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of being disturbed, of not being valued, uh, is makes its way again and again to your mind, then that is a sign that you need help. If you are unable to shake that thought away from your consciousness that you are troubled or you're sad, please seek help. Please don't wait. You owe it to yourself and your family. Because only when you are positive, you are happy, you are full of energy, can you give and be that happy person for other people. That's just common sense. And you need to be happy for yourself because you matter. You are your most precious resource, and this is the least you can do for yourself. My next question is more of a corporate question, I guess. I'm busy with work, but sometimes in between it all, a feeling of boredom sets in. What's going on? I think that's happened with all of us, right? It doesn't really mean with work. Even when we are studying, it used to happen with me a lot. When you're studying and studying gets so boring that you just randomize and you go to la la land and you're thinking about all the kind of different thoughts. And it's fun to get randomized. It's fun to think of those random thoughts. Of course, who wants to be studying all the time? It's so annoying, right? And who wants to be working all the time? While that is a very normal feeling, uh, if that feeling of boredom, just like that feeling of feeling low, keeps coming back to you, that's a sign that you need to think about it a little more. It's a sign that you need to reflect on yourself. It is a sign that you need to do a deep dive. So, how do we do a deep dive? Simple. What is boredom indicative of? Boredom is indicative of a lack of interest in what you're doing. That means it is also a distraction, correct? When are you bored? When do you procrastinate? When your motivation for what you are doing is extrinsic, which means that you are actually doing something to uh, to benefit in a way that is external to you, like a financial benefit or a benefit at work, a benefit with your grades. If your benefit is external to who you are as a person, that is called an extrinsic motivation. If your motivation is extrinsic rather than intrinsic, then it is quite possible that you will get bored in your job. Why? Because that job is not fulfilling you. That job uh, is not making you feel good about yourself. And anything that is not fulfilling you or making you feel good about yourself is something that is a randomization in your life. It is something that you are doing a duty for. And remember, duty cannot last. Depending upon the discipline that you have, you can continue to do your duty, but it won't take you to the other side. It won't give you happiness. You are devoid of passion. So, if boredom sets in, I want you to resist the urge to be impulsive. Most important. Today's generation, when boredom sets in, instead of really reflecting on who we are, we binge on food, we binge on TV, we go have a fight with our partners, or worse, we actually have sex with them just because we are bored, right? All of this could provide you with immediate excitement. It could give you instant gratification, but it does not give you fulfillment. And fulfillment is what you seek. If boredom is seeping in to your consciousness when you are performing your task, whatever that is, it could be even be the job of a mother or doing your chores. If you are bored, sad, upset, lonely when you feel that, it is time for you to think about yourself. It is time for you to reflect before things go out of hand. Because an extremely bored poor person goes down the spiral of becoming depressed, and you do not want to go there. My next question is, I am a young person and one of my parents has a mental illness. What can I do? I am so sorry. And thank you so much for writing into me, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. And the fact that you have written to me shows me your maturity. It shows me your sensibility. And I admire that. So, uh, kudos to you. I mean, I am very, very impressed with the fact that you have written in. Remember that getting better, realizing what's going wrong with us. In a situation where a parent and child comes in, is a parent's job. It is an adult's job. I understand you are upset, you are disturbed by looking at your parent going through stress, anxiety, or even depression, perhaps. The first thing I want you to do is be there for them. And when I say be there, I don't mean take what they're doing personally. If they are mentally unwell, it means that they are not mentally fit. If they are not mentally fit, it means that they are not in a position to handle you as their children, as their child. So don't take their lack of love, affection, behavior to your heart. You are their child. You love them. You should try your best to talk to that adult, to talk to your parent, and try and explain to them why it is imperative that they go get a diagnosis done. The last thing I want you to do is Google, right? Today, the youth is so internet savvy that when we see symptoms, the first thing we do is Google it, because you have so many online symptomatic checkers. Don't do that. Do not try and diagnose what your parent is undergoing. A mental issue needs a professional diagnosis. So, encourage them, take the help of their friends, take the help of your family, build allies for you. If you know something is going wrong with your parent, fight for your parent, fight for that friend, fight for whoever that person is who needs help in your family, who needs help in your core, and make sure that they go see a doctor to get a diagnosis done. Second, once they have a diagnosis, make sure you give them the support. Be around them, not all the time, but once in a while. Go talk to them, make them feel validated, make them feel cared. Love and affection goes a long way. This is how you were raised. Your parents did not abandon you when you disobeyed them, when you threw a tantrum. This, unfortunately, is your turn to be there for them. But that does not mean taking it all in. We don't want the stress of someone else's emotional illness to affect you. So, what I'm also saying is, please seek help. If you are troubled, if you are unable to handle, and even if you're unable to handle, make sure that you seek help where needed, both for yourself and that parent. And once you have this kind of a setup done, hopefully the adult will take responsibility for their mental illness, and it will ease you also from this kind of responsibility. It is a tricky situation, but to begin with, this is the advice that I have for you. I do have a live question. Taranveer says, hey, hi, Taranveer. He says, how can I ensure maximum productivity each and every day so that I can progress and thrive as an individual? That's a very, very good question. To ensure maximum productivity each and every day, You need to feel motivated towards that job. That job needs to be something that you're passionate about. It needs to be something that you wake up in the morning to do. There are two ways of doing this, right? One is where you are innately passionate about it. That is your intrinsic motivation. You are doing a job that you care about. Second is using techniques of NLP to feed that goal in your head. If uh, you feed a goal in your head which requires you to be productive to the best of your ability each and every day, your subconscious mind will actually get it to work. So, to answer your question, this is what I want you to do, Taranveer. I don't want to get into too much of details, but very, very quickly, this is the core of NLP. Our subconscious mind is the mind that goes to work for us. Our conscious mind is the mind that somewhere provides resistance, right? So, if you have a goal, make a goal for yourself that is extremely specific. So I want you to write, for example, I want to get a promotion in the next 6 months, or I want my project to succeed in the next 4 months. I want to put these many hours of work to be able to achieve the next level. I want to be studying for these many hours to get this much of knowledge. Whatever those XYZ parameters are, your goal needs to be super, super specific, and write it down. I want you to visualize it. And once you do that and you start working towards it, so let's say today you become productive and you are actually productive, that thrill of being productive is actually fed into your brain. And because your brain has that goal set, that I need to achieve this goal within 5 days, within 1 month, within 3 months, your brain will make sure you get up every day feeling productive, feeling passionate, feeling energized, and it will push you. In fact, NLP works so amazingly that sometimes the reverse is possible, where it charges you so much to achieve your goals that people have trouble sleeping in the night, right? Because the mind is overactive even in the night, where it's dishing out ideas on how you can achieve that goal. So, two parts. One, where you feed it in explicitly to your mind. Two, you start doing something that you're passionate about. You develop love and passion for it, because when you start doing something, boredom will not set in. When you start doing something that you love, procrastination will not set in. I hope that answers your question. And if you want something specifically, just write it in. If you want me to talk about NLP in detail or work that out with you such that it actually is helping you, do shoot me a message on WhatsApp, and we can come up with a customized spec that will actually work for you and help you develop productivity in a way that is most suitable for your growth. If Do we have any more questions? As always, you can reach out to me. You can send me your questions anonymously or like this on my live session, like Taran did, every Thursday at 7 p.m. IST. The questions can be sent to my Facebook, to my YouTube, to my Insta, or even my WhatsApp. All numbers and details are available in the videos. It is available on my social media pages. Do join the community for a lot of free information, tips, techniques on how you can build yourself up to become the best potential, the best version of yourself. Because the entire reason of opening soul therapy, of doing this every Thursday, is to make sure that you reach your true potential, is to make sure that you become the best version of yourself. And that begins with recognition and acceptance. Recognize when something is going wrong, accept when something is going wrong. Only when you recognize and accept will you actually find a solution, and only when you find a solution will you grow and become better. Remember RAIN, RAIN, Recognize, accept, investigate, nurture. Recognize your shortcomings, accept your shortcomings. Only then you can investigate and introspect on how you can overcome your shortcomings. And once that is done, then you are in your last phase, which is nurturing, where you nurture yourself and you evolve and bring yourself to a stage where you are a better person from where you started. Thank you so much. It's been a swell session. Reach out to me on all my social media channels, as I already shared with you earlier. Bye bye. Thank you. Thanks, Taran. I thank you so much for your feedback. Bye now. Hi, Rohit. I'm sorry I missed your comments. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you for talking to me about my videos and the betrayal video, especially. It's important for me. I think having a feedback is key, and it is the reason why I started. So, thank you so much. Keep watching, keep sharing, keep the love coming, because really that is the reason why I am doing what I am doing. The more you share, the more we as a community can help people become better. So let's do that together. Bye now. See you next Thursday.